Hey everyone, my name is David. I'm a recent UC Davis graduate, and yeah, thanks for joining me on my journey towards becoming a physician assistant. This channel is dedicated towards sharing resources, sharing my personal experiences and perspective in, this path towards becoming a physician assistant. And I hope it really does help out my fellow pre-PA students or pre-health students, because we're all in the same boat. We're all working towards kind of the same end goal of being, the heroes of healthcare someday. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Let's get this started. Sorry for the cringy opening, guys. This is my first time really doing YouTube, so give me some grace here. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Today's video is all about looking back and reflecting on things I learned in undergrad. A little bit too late in my opinion, but I hope that I can translate these experiences into tangible lessons that you guys can pick up on. So let's get into 5 lessons I wish I had learned before undergrad. So my first piece of advice to you would be develop a strong foothold in college, but on all fronts. You want to be able to, build your foundation in academics. You want to be able to build your support network and have like a group of friends that will definitely look out for you during the tough times and celebrate with you during the best of times. And explore your campus, really get to know the community that you're going to be living in for these next 4 years, because there are resources, there are organizations out there that will definitely help you grow more as a person. So personally for me, I was super scared and super anxious about how difficult college would be, because sometimes parents can be up in your face and be like, if you don't take this seriously, you're done. Like, you will be chewed up, spat out, it's over. You're dropping out like that one kid in that one story I told you when you were 5. It's not necessarily helpful for an incoming college student. So I ended up being super afraid, and I ended up isolating myself my freshman year just to focus on my grades. And although there were some results, I was getting straight A's the entire year, in the long run I ended up getting super burnt out. My 3rd quarter, I wasn't eating right. I had dropped weight. Instead of the typical freshman 15, I actually lost like 15 pounds or so. I wasn't eating right, I wasn't feeling good like physically.
Doing the people. What? Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
That wasn't optimal. I wasn't meeting new people. I wasn't getting to explore more about this community, about who I was, and about my own personal interests in college. And that definitely took a toll on me and would have serious repercussions on me throughout my entire college career. But yeah, definitely build a strong foundation, and trust me, you will thank yourself later. Like, ugh. Alright, number 2. A little redundant, but really I can't stress it enough. Go take advantage of those resources that are being offered to you on your campus. For me, I was able to take advantage of office hours being held by my professor. I was able to make use of the health professions and advising, and actually normal college advising. Also, there was peer tutoring that had, fellow students that did well in a course prior teach a class of other students taking the course presently, and it actually boosted my grades by a lot, because it was nice having someone else that understood the struggles of a student and made their lessons a little bit more tailored to a student learning it, as opposed to a research professor. Not to say that research professors are bad at instructing. Actually, most of them at Davis were quite good, but it was really helpful to have someone that kind of got the perspective of a student more, and it was nice having a second lecture. It was really nice and helped solidify the material in my head a little bit more. So I would definitely recommend taking advantage of all those resources I just mentioned, or whatever equivalent it may be at your college. Just definitely look out for things of that nature, and it might be a little bit of a research process. You're gonna have to investigate on your college website and all, but you're gonna thank yourself later, because these resources, for the most part, they are free. and you'll deeply benefit from these resources if you know how to take advantage of them. Number 3, develop good habits. It's a little vague, but I'll explain. So a good habit, actually, according to the literature, can essentially take root after consistent implementation over a month. But a bad habit can develop within a day or two. So really, don't let yourself fall into this trap of short-term gratification, of, falling into the trap of, hey, screw it, I'm just gonna fall asleep in bed, I'm gonna miss one class, I'll podcast it later. Like, don't do that. Like, really just save that for an emergency, or save it when you really cannot attend the class. Because catching up is actually really difficult in college. It can be easy for some classes, like a GE, but college classes are very intensive. We cover material quite quickly, and you just want to develop a good habit of going to your lectures, showing up consistently, and actually trying to start learning the material instead of seeing the lecture for the first time in a podcast. You could go to a lecture, sort of understand what's going on during the lecture, go home, podcast, and it would actually be more of a review. So you're getting a double whammy, and you're ultimately solidifying the information in your own mind. So definitely try to make good habits. It's gonna be hard. You have to really focus on making it a routine. But I assure you, after a month or so, it'll just be like second nature to you. And if you really work on it, and if you really try to translate it and keep it consistent throughout the rest of your college career, you're gonna keep that with you for the rest of your life. I mean, like, hopefully. I'm still trying out here. But, we're all working on it. Don't be down on yourself because you can't get a great habit going. As long as you really commit to it, put in some discipline, and keep up that motivation, you will get through it. You will be able to create good habits that are lifelong. Alright, number 4. Find a study routine that works for you. You're gonna go on YouTube, everyone is gonna try to recommend a certain study technique for you, but there's just about as many study techniques as there are people in this entire world, because everyone has their own individual way of learning, and it's really tough for you to just take whatever one person says. Like, maybe they'll study for 24 hours straight, no breaks, and they'll blast like rock music the entire time to stay amped. Like, that's not necessarily going to be what works for most people. I know some people that actually subscribe to that, and props to them. I can't do it, but you have to develop, research, and find what works for you. I can only do so much in terms of recommendations, because it's all based on my subjective experiences. So my best recommendation to you would be to go on YouTube, try out different study techniques on whatever you may be studying right now, or whatever you want to study, and see what works for you. Kind of document, see how you did in terms of retaining the knowledge. So after maybe you did a certain type of studying technique, you can have like a worksheet, right? And you can see how well you did afterwards, or you can develop your own questions to test yourself and see, how well did I retain this knowledge? Like, did this work for me or not? So I think that would be really helpful. Personally, for me, I found in college that, in the beginning, I used to blast music, I used to just glance at a paper, and I just do a bunch of like memorization in terms of writing things over and over and over again. And if I didn't necessarily get it, I wouldn't ask too many questions. And towards the end of my college career, it did a pretty much 180. I would routinely study without any music, no distractions. I would maybe study at home, kind of vary it up, study in different environments to just get a little bit of variety. But overall, just nice, quiet environment, no music, and I would just study for shorter periods of time, maybe like blocks of 2 hours or 3 hours, so I could, take breaks, get food, whatever it may be. And after a break, I'd come back to it and really try to grind it out, or maybe switch to a different course and study for that instead. And something that I'm trying to implement now is the Pomodoro Technique. And the Pomodoro Technique is basically where you split up your studying into even smaller intervals. So maybe you'll study hardcore for 30 minutes, no distractions, no breaks. And after the 30 minutes, you have like 2 minutes or 5 minutes to take a quick break, just use the restroom, have a sip of water, drink coffee, whatever it may be, and then you put a check mark on the top right corner of your page of whatever paper that you have, and then you'll cycle like that over and over again until you hit 4 check marks, in which you take an even longer break. So what ends up happening is that even though you're taking like a lot of breaks, like in terms of quantity, overall increasing the longevity of your study time. So I think I'm gonna try that. I'll probably do a video on that some other time. But yeah, take my advice in terms of really trying to find out what works for you, because what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. Number 5, treat everyone that you meet in college with the utmost respect that you can provide, and give people grace and the benefit of the doubt. College is hard, and there are going to be times when you yourself are suffering and people around you probably same boat, probably suffering as well. And no, not everyone is going to be as empathetic as you could possibly be, but as long as we are putting our best version of ourselves forward, I think by the end of the day, by the end of our college careers, we can be happy with what kind of people we've been, what kind of people we're becoming. The way we carry ourselves is very important, and it translates over after we graduate. We're adults, we should act that way. And you know, if we want to get to know our professors better in order to get letters of rec or letters of rec from our work supervisors or our principal investigators at a research lab, you really have to conduct yourself in a very professional manner and treat everyone with a high degree of respect, because these people are really spending time to invest in your personal growth. And as long as you show effort and you reciprocate that initial trust they put in you, they're going to stick with you the rest of your college career. And this extends to your peers as well. Of course, you're going to be in a major, right? And this major, you're probably going to have to take the exact same classes as everyone else by the time you're an upperclassman. And you're all going to be intermingling, getting to know each other, working with one another, and collaborating. And you can create lifelong friendships out of that and support one another. Or you could end up being the worst enemies ever and burn bridges. And that's not helpful in terms of supporting one another in order to use resources, share resources that will all help us reach our professional career goals. So definitely do what you can in order to give others grace, because that will be reciprocated back onto you and you'll be happier for it. Alright everyone, this is the end of the video. I just want to thank y'all for sticking through it, and I really hope that all of my undergrad experiences that have been kind of translated into these tips or these lessons are really taken to heart by someone that is going through it right now. I wish y'all the best of luck. Y'all gonna get your degree and y'all gonna thrive. I know it. So thanks for sticking with this. I'm gonna be working on some new content in terms of maybe my desk setup, but definitely for sure we'll tackle what is a PA, why PA. As all PA channels sort of do. It's kind of obligatory, but yeah, thanks for sticking through it. If you can, drop a like, do whatever. I don't really mind. Just, you know, if you think this was helpful, please let me know. If it wasn't, also let me know. And if you can, hopefully share it to someone that you think would definitely benefit from hearing the lessons that I have to offer. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Take care and see y'all next time. Cheers!
One step is all I have to take. One step is all I have.
Well, I got Indies in my favor.
They said